Hello everyone, welcome back. This week we are covering Southeast Asia in our World Regional Geography class, and we will start as we usually do with the physical geography of the region. When we look at Southeast Asia, we want to remember that this is a pretty broad and large region. For example, just the geography of Indonesia east to west is a region as large as the United States, the continental United States. When we look at Southeast Asia, we should also remember that it's divided into two regions. We have the Peninsula, which is composed of countries like Myanmar, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam and Malaysia, and also the island nations, the insular part of Southeast Asia, which includes countries like Indonesia, which is the largest by far, the small island city-state of Singapore, the Sultanate of Brunei, the Philippines, and Timor-Leste, a Portuguese-speaking Christian country here in just south in the southern islands of Indonesia. This region is also shaped by plate tectonics. We have looked at how plate tectonics has affected the physical geography or the hazards of other regions like Japan or the Himalayas. In this case, Southeast Asia is also a very active region in terms of its volcanic activity and tectonic activity. It is on the western edge of the Pacific Ring of Fire, and it is composed of the Australian plate and the Eurasian plate, but we also have the Philippine plate, which is the Pacific plate is pushing against the Pacific plate. And so because of all this activity in the region, we have quite a bit active volcanoes. In 2004, for example, there was an earthquake off the coast of Indonesia, and that triggered a tsunami, which was a seismic sea wave that led to earthquakes, mudslides, and also small volcanic eruptions. The region of Banda Aceh in Indonesia was a focal point, and we saw widespread damage in Indonesia and also in India from this tsunami. So these hazards can be quite dangerous. Like East Asia and South Asia, the Tibetan Plateau is very important for this region. We've looked at how water is so important for regions and other countries as well. And here, because as you can see from this map, the major rivers of Southeast Asia and India and China as well are also fed by the glaciers and the snow that accumulates in the Tibetan Plateau. The most important rivers in the region are the Irrawaddy, the Salween, and the Mekong River. And in northern Vietnam, we also have the Red River. But the Irrawaddy and the Salween and the Mekong are the largest by far in this region. In Southeast Asia, like in other parts of Asia, the monsoon season is also very important to bringing water. We're going to see that in the Peninsula nations, in cities like Bangkok, Hanoi, Manila, and Singapore, the summer monsoon brings more rain than the winter monsoon. That's actually true for all these cities I mentioned except for Singapore. Singapore receives 55 inches of rain on average in the winter monsoon, and it receives 37 on average in the summer monsoon. So the winter monsoon is more active here in Southeast Asia. Jakarta also receives 60 inches of rain in the winter monsoon, whereas it only receives 6 inches of rain in the summer monsoon. So for the Philippines, for Hanoi, and for Bangkok, again, the summer monsoon brings more water. There are several challenges that the region is facing. One of the most important is deforestation. This is a region where we have seen rapid population growth and rapid industrialization. And so this has led to an export-led economic development project where the natural resources are sold to developing countries in Europe and the Americas, but also China. China has become one of the largest markets, if not the largest market, for exports in Southeast Asia. About 50% of the original rainforests remain, but we see that the development of oil palm plantations has led to widespread deforestation. This is a rough estimate of the forest loss in the island of Borneo. This large island is part of Indonesia. And in 1950, we can see that it was mostly covered by rainforest, but by 2020, it actually had lost about half or more of its forest cover. There are other environmental challenges that the region faces. Its coastal environments are threatened by urban development. About 90% of Southeast Asian people live near the coast, in the cities, for example, towns as well. This has led to the degradation of mangrove forests due to aquaculture, in part because there's large fishing and shrimp and fish farms on the coast. So mangroves have been depleted. We also see dynamite fishing in coral reefs. Dynamite fishing is basically as it sounds. There's an explosion, it stuns the fish, and they float up to the surface. And so this is something that some of these countries are trying to limit because it destroys their marine life and marine habitats. The other challenge, like many other rapidly developing countries, Southeast Asian cities also suffer from pollution, especially in mega regions like Manila, Jakarta, and Bangkok, right? Like in Latin America, in countries of Southeast Asia that are rapidly developing, don't always have the most up-to-date or the most strict emission standards for vehicles. And so we're going to see a lot of older vehicles in the street as well. But I think that this is one of the things that is beginning to change, especially in these large cities. Okay, that's it for this section. In the next section on Southeast Asia, we will look at the history and culture of the region.